Hey family, this is Lady Wisdom with your shoulda, woulda, coulda. Are some of you sitting back in your shoulda, woulda, couldas? I should have done this, I would have done that, I could have done this. I want you to ask yourself, what is preventing you from moving forward out of that shoulda, woulda, coulda? What is it that you can do today that will propel you out of what I should have done, could have done, would have done? There's still something that can be done today. And I encourage you, like I said before, don't focus on the rearview mirror. Focus on what's ahead of you and what it is that you can do moving forward to bring those dreams, those forgotten dreams, into fruition and to manifest those dreams. And remember, greatest conversation you will ever have is the one that takes place in between your ears. What are you speaking to yourself? This is Lady Wisdom. Make sure you stay connected with my journey with Paula G across all platforms. Welcome to my journey with Paula G. I'm your host, Paula G, and here we are juggling this journey called life while we're walking in the gifts and the talents that God has given us. I welcome each and every one of you. The fact that you're viewing and or listening means that you are a journey embracer. And if this is your first time embracing the journey, we welcome. If you are a returning listener or viewer, we thank you so much for continuing to tune in because we always say that time is precious. It's the one thing you can't get back. So for you to think it not robbery to spend this time here with us, especially when you have so many options, it's truly, truly appreciated. And we keep that in mind each and every episode as well. I want you to stay connected with me across all social media platforms. Paula G Voice. My website is paulagvoice.com. You can go over there and see my journey of radio and television, of lifestyle, print modeling, voiceover, my courses, just a variety of things that I have embraced and doors that have been opened for me on my journey in hopes that it will encourage you to begin your respective journeys if you have not done so already. Also want to thank our underwriters. Without them, we would not be able to provide this programming. So we thank them so much. And if you have a business product or service and you're looking to gain exposure in front of an audience, you can email us at Jerry Royce Live. That's JERRYROYCELIVE at gmail.com or Paula at paulagvoice.com. Put underwriting opportunities in the subject line and we'll be sure to follow up with you. Again, like, share, subscribe because we are all on this journey called life. All right, well, today we're going to talk a little bit about self love, the self love journey. And I want to start with a scripture, Ephesians, yes, Ephesians 4, verses 15 through 16. Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become, in every respect, the mature body of Him who is the head, that is, Christ. From Him, the whole body, joined and held together by every supporting ligament, grows and builds itself up in love as each part does its work. And this scripture speaks to the body of Christ and of all of us coming together and giving him glory, doing according to his will. But before we can come together as a body, and this speaks to life as well, before we can come together as one, before we can come together as a team, we've got to take care of some things on the inside. We've got to love ourselves. Many of us are walking around and we don't love ourselves. We're seeking, the love elsewhere, which is not a bad thing. But before you can receive someone to love you, you've got to love yourself. You've got to know who you are. You've got to know what's lovable. And we have to love ourselves. And, we've gone through these journeys in life where there have been times of loneliness and we've craved attention and we've craved love from others. And we may not have necessarily made the best choices of who we allowed into our lives, regardless of what type of relationship it is. We may not have made the best choices because we were lonely or because we did not enjoy our own company. I remember, sharing with someone at one point in time that, we all desire a relationship and, with that significant other or that special man, that special woman. We all desire those relationships. And for some of us, we, find ourselves being blessed to have those relationships. For others, it doesn't necessarily occur. But when I was on this journey and I was being prayerful about a relationship and I was being prayerful about someone special being brought into my life, my prayer was, I remember saying to God that if I have to spend the rest of my life alone, I can be happy in my own company. If I have to spend the rest of my life and not have a special person in my life, that and if that was according to God's will, that as the word says, I would be content, I would be comfortable in my own company, and I would love myself. That's a journey. Regardless of whether you have someone in your life or not, it is a journey to being comfortable in your own company, to loving yourself. Many times you find in relationships, you might have one person that has a lot going on and they're living an active life, and the other person not so much. And the person that is not so much living an active life may be dependent upon the person that is, and sometimes they may feel some kind of way when that person has things to do, and this other person is feeling some kind of way because you're not spending time with me, or you're not um, giving me enough attention. Now, granted, now sometimes yes, that you need to kind of, okay, I've got this person in my life, I do need to give them some attention. But when it becomes, the obsessive, such that that the expectation is all the time, 24/7, that speaks to that person perhaps not being comfortable in their own space. I remember somebody saying to me one time that they were not comfortable being by themselves. They were not comfortable being alone. They weren't comfortable being in their own space. Well, if you're not comfortable being in your own space or being alone, what kind of company are you going to be for someone who comes into your life? I know, sometimes we think that will solve the problem. When I have somebody in my life, then I'll have someone to occupy that space so I don't have to deal with myself. But the minute that person, has something to do, or the minute that person is not there when we think that they should be there, then we feel some kind of way. And again, I go back. I realize in relationships, we do need to give each other proper time and proper attention. I got that. But when it comes to the point where this person wants you around 24/7 and they feel some kind, it's almost like an infant, and I'm not equating grown folks to infants, but the behavior. It's almost like an infant. Well, let me say that because my children, but you've had that probably at least one child. The minute you put that child down as an infant, they're screaming and hollering, and you got to keep them on your hip because they want your full attention. They want to be around you all the time because they don't want to be put down. They don't want to even want you to give them to somebody else. Then I think some of that speaks to, maybe that child being a little spoiled. But anyway, that's another conversation. But do y'all see what I'm saying? So in order to be engaged in a healthy relationship or to welcome someone else into our life, we have to be comfortable in our own space and comfortable with who we are. I am comfortable in my own space. I can take myself out to dinner. I can take myself to the movies. I can take myself shopping. I can have a spa day and have a ball all by myself because I love myself because I'm comfortable in my own space. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back on the flip side, I'm going to share some ways that we can, you know, learn to be comfortable with ourselves and learn to be comfortable in our own space. Because when we achieve that, when we're comfortable with ourselves, when we're comfortable in our own space, when we love ourselves, we bring that much more to a relationship. When we do have that significant other, that other person in our life, we bring that much more to the relationship. I'm going to put a pin in it right there. Hold that thought. We'll be back in a little bit. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Paula G. This is My Journey with Paula G, and we're talking about loving ourselves. We'll be back in a moment. Hey family, this is Paula G, and sometimes our negative mindset can hinder our progress. We have to unlock that negative mindset and create a new narrative in our mind so that we can move forward. And my Mindset Journey Masterclass can help you do just that. You can visit my website, paulagvoice.com, for more information. Embrace the journey. Welcome back to My Journey with Paula G, where we are juggling this journey called life while walking in our gifts and talents. I am your host, Paula G, and I encourage you to like, share, subscribe, stay connected with me through all social media platforms, Paula G Voice across the board, paulagvoice.com, my website. Also, check out the weekendchannel.tv. Shouts out to Jerry Royce Live, our producer and the creator of the Weekend Channel. There is a playlist channel on the Weekend Channel entitled My Journey with Paula G, along with many other positive programming. So we want to make sure that you check that out. Also, to our underwriters, we thank you all so very much. And if you have a business, product, or service, email paulagvoice at gmail.com or jerryroycelive@gmail.com. That's JERRYROYCELIVE at gmail.com. Put underwriting opportunities in the subject line. We'll be sure to follow up. And again, thank you all so much for tuning in and for listening and watching each and every episode, because we keep that in mind when we're creating these episodes and coming up with topics that we feel would be relevant to you and your daily walk and your daily journey of life. All right, so before the break, we were talking about self-love, and the scripture I shared with you was Ephesians 4, verses 15 and 16. You can go back and take a look at those. And I was sharing with you about self-love and how I had reached a point in my life, had been divorced almost 20 years. And we all desire to have someone in our life. We all, a special person, we all desire a relationship, a significant other, to be married again, whatever it is. And I'm no different. I'm no different. I had those desires, and about to lose my computer. I've had those desires, but I also recognize that it may or may not have been in the cards for me. And my prayer initially was, Lord, if this be according to your will, I desire to have that special person in my life, but be it according to your will. And if that's not according to your will, I will be content with living the rest of my life on my own, because I did the work to self love. I did the work to where I love myself. I did the work to where I could be comfortable in my own company. Granted, it wasn't preferable because, as I said, I desire, like everyone else, to have someone in my life. But if that would not come to fruition, I'm comfortable in my own space. And I'm still comfortable in my own space. I have been blessed with that relationship, but I'm still comfortable in my own space. I'm still, there are certain times of year where there's certain things occur, football season, where I got to find things to do because somebody is engaged in football. But I'm comfortable in my own space. I can take myself to the movies. I can take myself out to dinner. Not that I have to now do that, but um, I enjoy reading. I enjoy creating all of these things that I enjoy doing. So, I am comfortable, and I can take myself to the spa. I am comfortable in my own space while he's doing those things that he desires to do, or that, if it's work, if he's working long hours, he's workaholic, likes to work. So there may be times where we can't necessarily be together, and I've got to entertain myself, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm not sweating him or stressing him about when are you coming back and when are you this. I'm not doing all that. He knows where I am, right? I'm not doing all of that. In the interim, I've got a life. I've got things that I can do. I've got things that I engage in, and I engage in those things, and those things bring me joy, and those things make me happy. So that when we are together, I'm a pleasant person to be with. And I because one of my prayers has always been to be a complement to the other person, to add to the other person's life. I want to be a complement. I want to add to their life. So if my life is fulfilled, if I'm loving myself, then I'm adding to his life. I'm complementing his life because I am happy with myself. I am happy in my own skin. I love myself. Um, and I got a life, you know. And you sometimes you hear the phrase "get a life," and it might be a little harsh, it might be a little insensitive, but sometimes we have to hear that. Yeah, we got to get a life. There are things that each of us need to find something, a hobby, a passion, something that we enjoy doing that brings us joy, so we're not dependent upon the company of another. Having the company of another is a beautiful thing, but we should not be dependent on the company of another. So three things I suggest. One, y'all have heard me say this before with my mindset journey course. The first lesson in that course is peeling back the layers. Peeling back the layers. Why am I not comfortable with myself? Why am I not comfortable in my own space? Why don't I love myself? You got to peel back those layers and peel back and get to the origin of where these emotions or where these feelings started. And peeling takes time because a lot of times when we're peeling back the layers, that means that things have been covered over or things have been healed, but they may not have been healed properly. So you have all these improperly healed um, echoes of the past, I call them, that you got to work your way back, work your way through to kind of determine why am I incapable of loving myself, or why am I incapable of not being comfortable in my own company. You got to peel back those layers. The second class in my mindset journey course is unlocking that mindset. What has caused that mindset? What has caused the mindset for you to not love yourself, not be comfortable in your own company? Getting to the core of that. What has caused that mindset? So we got to unlock that negative mindset. And thirdly, finally, creating a new narrative. Now, this is kind of a Cliff Notes version, but basically, this journey to self love, I found myself, these are the steps that I took. These are the things that I did. And I said, why not put these in a course, in a mindset journey course that can help others on their journey as well? Peeling back those layers of um, negative experiences in your past, unlocking the negative mindset that was birthed out of those negative experiences, and then creating a new narrative for yourself. So for me, when I did that, I kind of peeled back, and I, realized there were some circumstances in my past that caused me to maybe not necessarily like myself very much, and I had to address those things. And then I had to create that new narrative. I am fearfully, do you hear me? Oh, here is it. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am a woman of God. I'm beautiful. I'm gracious. I have things to offer. God has placed things inside of me. I have so much of life ahead of me. You have to unlock that negative mindset, create that new narrative. I am now a voice artist, a lifestyle model, an author, a mindset journey course creator. I've transformed my life, and I help others to do the same because I've been on this journey. I am comfortable with myself. I love myself, and I want to encourage and show others how you can get to that point as well, even if you're not feeling that way. And I know a lot of us, we have confidence issues and we feel insecure. We got to get to the core of those things so that we can unlock that negative mindset, create that new narrative, and walk in the transformation of the newness of who you are. Feel good about yourself. So when you are on the threshold of that special relationship, you can add, you can compliment that person, you can bring joy to that person's life, and you can experience a wonderful and beautiful relationship, assuming that other person has done the work as well. That's a whole nother conversation, but assuming that other person has done that work as well. So I hope that has helped somebody. We have come, oh my gosh, we've come to the end of our journey today. Thank you, journey embracers, for staying tuned and staying with us. I pray that this has helped you. To our underwriters, oh my gosh, thank y'all so much for your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you have a business, you have a product or service, and you're looking to gain exposure in front of an audience, you can email Jerry Royce live at gmail.com or Paula at paulagvoice.com. We can have that conversation. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, stay connected across all social media platforms. Paula G Voice, my website, paulagvoice.com. And don't forget that the greatest conversation you will ever have is that one that takes place in between your ears. You got to unlock that negative mindset. What are you speaking to yourself? Is God a part of that conversation? And are you listening to his still small voice? Until next time, embrace the journey.